Bebe, what's up?
Hello, how are
Hello.
we?
I'm so happy to have you on. This is super exciting. Life has been crazy, so I'm so excited to finally be back in the studio talking to someone who's a dear friend. But yeah, how's your day? How's things going? What's happening?
It's good. It's good. Just a typical day. I'm working on Electric Zoo this year, so lots of stuff going on with that today. Just a lot of work, but it's coming up, so we're excited.
So how did that opportunity present itself? Because I knew last year you kind of like, I mean, last year when we met at Electric Zoo, but I didn't even like register that I knew you were doing something, but not to the full extent of what you were telling me off the podcast. So how did that opportunity come in your life?
Yeah, so I got connected with the guy who kind of was one of the original people behind Electric Zoo last year, like in the winter, just doing freelance stuff. And then as the months went on, they had an opportunity for someone to come on and run socials on site and like the Ezu app on site. And so I got connected that way. And now I get to do it again this year, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, that's awesome. You get access to everything. And so you're posting throughout the day. Are you coordinating with like the videographer team and what they are putting together? Are you directing them on what to put together? Like how does that coincide?
Yeah, so me and like the whole media team work out of the same trailer. So I basically, if I have certain things that I want them to shoot, then I direct them as to like where to go, what artists to get, and then there's a whole system for it. So they run back in like every so often, drop in like all their photos. And then I go through and figure out what I want to post and write the copy and everything and do it for all the social channels. So it's kind of a whirlwind, but it's really fun.
3 days of just like bang, 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 bang. I'm assuming.
Yes, yes, it's very hectic, but it's so much fun. And obviously, like, it's my home festival, so I get to see a bunch of friends as well, which is super nice.
Yeah, yeah. I remember us screaming at you. We're like, "There's our star!" I remember a bunch of
Yeah.
people around us. I remember a bunch of people around us
Everyone was
looking.
like, "Who is this
Yeah,
girl?"
yeah. That's
Yes,
what
I
makes it
remember
fun.
that.
That's what makes it even more fun, I'm sure. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what I did not know is that you did a lot of freelance work and you do a lot of I mean, I've started to look at your YouTube and stuff like that prior up to this podcast, but I didn't even know you really did all of that. I just knew you worked in I was like, oh, she works in the scene. We've hung out a few times, like, but yeah, no, that's so what is it freelance work that you do? And again, how did you kind of get started in that? Because I'm assuming just like myself, there's tons of people out there that have had that idea of doing freelance work and they're not entirely sure where to start.
Yeah, so it kind of came two ways. One, through my YouTube channel. So I've been doing YouTube for I guess like 3 years now, just doing festival vlogs and like lineup reviews and stuff like that. And then I actually also went to college for music business. So I was a music business major. So kind of those two things came together to have me meet a bunch of different people. And, the music industry is kind of all about who you know. So I graduated during COVID, didn't really have anything going for me because there wasn't really an industry at all. And then I started working on Rave Culture podcast with Emma
Mhm.
Capotis, just like doing her video editing and socials. And then from there, got connected with the guy I talked about who does Izu.
Right.
And then it was kind of just like once you get one freelance gig, you just meet people, and then those people need a person for something else. And it just like all kind of snowballs. So now I do a lot of different things, but it's mostly all just show marketing and festival marketing.
Yeah, it's crazy how that networking works. And once that's where you have to do a good job for everyone you work with for or something, because that you never know where that might lead to that next big client or that next big opportunity. So key to do that. Yeah, it is weird looking back. I'm sure how like, oh, that was connected to this and that. So
It's all connected. I was just talking about it with Emma because she was like the first thing that I did out of college was her podcast, besides like internships during college. And like through that, I met like someone at like this job I have and that job I have. And it's like I wouldn't have met those people if it wasn't for working on Emma's podcast. It's like a whole chain reaction. It's
yeah,
cool though.
it is cool. It's what they call it, like the butterfly effect, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something of that nature. We'll get really philosophical on this podcast too at some
Yeah.
point. We'll save it for right now.
Yeah.
So with your YouTube channel, you kind of mentioned it. You started by just doing like vlogs and reviews and stuff like that. What was the like what made you want to start doing that? Let's start there. Because I
I
feel
guess
like
with
So I
Yeah,
feel like we'll have
with
super similarities on this. So go ahead.
oh, I'm sure. With YouTube, it was kind of, I knew I wanted to make vlogs, and that was kind of the main driver. But then I also knew I wanted to do something with like music recommendations, just
Mhm.
because I felt like when I started, there wasn't a lot of people, there's not a lot of like EDM YouTube channels, like people who actually like talk about the music, vlog festivals that they go to. Like it's a very small handful of people. And I knew I wanted to vlog because I just always had the best time at these events with all my friends, and I wanted to document it to be able to look back on later. And YouTube was also just a great space to like have it for all my friends to watch and to always be able to watch and look back on. So that was kind of what started it. I just wanted to have those memories. And then I just like, as someone who wanted to work in the music industry, it kind of became like, oh, I could also use this to, it's almost like a portfolio in a way,
Yeah.
because dance music is weird. Like it's not always here's a job application and here you go. Like a lot of it is again just like through people that you know, and it's not always job listings. So it kind of became like a resume in a way for me also to do like the music related stuff, not just the vlogs.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned that you wanted to do vlogs. So you knew like from the get-go, like I'm gonna start doing vlogs.
I loved because I watched festival vlogs. Like I watched Emma's, I watched like Vibe with Aid, and I was like, these are so like I love. It's like a little like film of like memories with all your friends, and I always knew that I had the best time at festivals. And I was like, I feel like I could do that, and I just want to do it, like to be able to look back on. I still like watch my old vlogs from time to time, even though the beginning ones are like god awful because I didn't know what I was doing with video editing in the beginning. It's cool to look back on, like just that old memories.
No, 100%. It's funny to me that you were like, I want to vlog this because I
I
started
know.
my stuff and I wasn't like, for me, it was
Really?
like it was like a total process of getting to that point. Like I was comfortable. It took me a while to get comfortable even on camera. I don't even know if you know, like I started by just posting festival clips. Like I had gone to, 5 a year and I had all these videos and I was like, well, I should just do something with these videos. And they're just sitting in my phone. And it started out with just posting every day. I was posting clips of different sets and whatnot. And then it evolved slowly into the podcast and then content. And then TikTok's really what got me in front of the camera. Like it was always the other way. It was always facing that way. It was never on me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a different, which is all another animal within itself. But yeah, I remember my first vlog, like you're saying, I went to vlog.
Oh no.
I went to vlog the weekend of Millennium Trilogy. I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna
Oh.
be that guy. And I was so not ready that weekend. I was like so embarrassed to be like in the crowd with the camera.
It takes some getting used to. Like when I first started vlogging, I was like so embarrassed to be holding up the camera. I was like, don't look at me. And now I don't really give a shit. Like it's like whatever. I'm never gonna look at these. Like I mean, maybe we'll cross paths again, but I don't really give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
but in the beginning, I was so shy with it.
Oh, it's weird. But I would never like, because you watch other people, you watch like what you're saying, Emma, Aid, even some of the bigger ones like Logan Paul and stuff. If you ever watch some of theirs to get ideas, but like you watch them and it's like, oh, it just comes. Like you're like, oh, they got it. But I've
Yeah.
talked to them and they're like, yeah, it was really weird at first. Like,
It's so weird at first. It's definitely an adjustment. Like in the beginning, I was like, and you can tell because my vlogs are so much shorter, and all it is mostly is just like videos of the set. It's not actually like me like going around and like saying what we're doing like in between the music. Whereas if you
yeah,
watch mine now, there's like a lot more of like the behind the scenes parts of it.
yeah, that's what I always put in mind. Like, and from this set to this set and everything in between, I try to get that involved best I can. Even I'm still getting better at it. But do you have any like funny first vlog stories that you can remember?
I think ooh, there was when I was vlogging EDC Orlando in 2019, I was in the middle of like recording, and it was the first time that someone ever noticed me from my YouTube channel. And all of a sudden, some guy like just taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Oh my God, Bebe." And I was like filming something, and I was like, yeah, I was like, what? And they were like, no, like I watch your channel. I was like, oh, because that wasn't like a concept in my brain that I would ever run into people who like watched my videos.
Yeah.
So, and I think I still have the video on my phone somewhere. It's so funny, but I was so confused. I was like, yes, like who's asking? And then I was like, oh, wait.
That's something new as well. I'm not used to that yet. And I don't by any means have a huge following, but it's like progressively getting there. And
Yeah.
is that not like it's humble. It's like very nice. I'm like super caught off guard by it. I never know how to react.
I'm
But
always caught
it's
off guard. But no, same. I mean, I have under 5,000 subscribers on YouTube and I still get people like all the time. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I'm always like, I always tell people to come up and say hi because I love it, but it does always throw me off in the beginning. People are like, Bebe. And I'm like, wait, right. I do this
yeah,
thing called YouTube and a lot of people watch it.
it is funny. Like it's just I've had one where I got caught off guard at Paradise Blue. I was eating and someone was like Babs, and I like had a rib in my mouth, and I was like,
No.
I turned with it in my mouth. I was like, huh? I thought it was one of my friends. He was like, oh, dude, I listened to the podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. But no, for real, when people do that, I do want to make it known. It is super nice, and it makes I'm sure you can feel the same way. You feel
Yes.
very grateful for that because it's like you as a creator, you can attest to this too. Like when you're creating, like you have those moments where you're up, and then you have those where you're like, what am I doing? Like what am I
Yes.
trying and it's not
Yes.
working? And then for someone to say like, I like this X and X, you're like, okay, so it did
You're
actually.
like good. Like it
Yeah.
has, you don't realize the impact that you have because my channel specifically grew a lot during quarantine. So I wasn't at shows or festivals meeting people.
Mhm.
So when I went back to festivals afterwards, that's when like a lot of people started coming up to me. And I was like, wow, now I actually feel like really good about the work and consistency that I put in over quarantine. Cause at times it felt stupid because it's like, there's no events. Why am I doing this? But I still did it anyway. And it definitely is like super rewarding now.
Yeah, quarantine was an interesting time because it kind of like we all had to a little bit adjust like on what we were doing. And I mean, I don't think I adjusted as best as I could, but I had so much content built up that I was like, well, I'm just going to capitalize on continuously posting videos of sets because I had, I think like 2 years of sets backed up. Like, so but again,
Damn.
that's how I started. So I didn't start with me in front, and I was not that person to be doing the TikToks that I am now. And like even now it's still weird. TikTok is like I still have to get used to me talking on the phone now. I got past the GoPro, right? And the camera.
Yeah.
But
Now it's
now
like the
it's like,
next thing to
yeah,
tackle.
now I'm
TikTok
talking
is
on
a
the phone.
whole other beast.
It is, but it's the best. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it's so do you do any TikTok work for any of the companies that you freelance for?
Actually, yeah. So I run Electric Zoo TikTok, and then I
Cool.
also help out with TikTok on like my main freelance job is one of the main brands under it is Gray Area, which is a house music brand. So I help out on that TikTok. And then I run Lunchbox Packs TikTok as well.
And I actually knew that. Now I feel dumb because we talked about that
No, no,
previously,
no,
but
no, no. Now everyone knows.
everyone knows, right, right. But it's an interesting. Do they give you kind of like free reign, or are they worried about anything? Because so I work for a big company. I don't want to. I'm not going to say where, but sure people will find it. But like, I work for a bigger company, and I help with their TikTok, and I am always like, I'm like pulling hairs out because I'm like, you all are like, they don't want me to do certain things. They're nervous about these trends, and then the trends leave, and it's like, hey, we could have capitalized on this. And I'm not like I've tried to talk to them and be like, listen, I'm not saying we only do trendy stuff. Like I get you want to be informative, you want to tell people about the product, like, and we can do that, but we can do that with being hand in hand with the other stuff that is what's known on TikTok. So it's very, yeah, I'm just curious what other people's experiences.
Yeah, for me with TikTok, they pretty much give me free reign. I mean, for Electric Zoo, they have like designated videos that they want to go up on certain days, and those are like made by our video team. So my job is just to post it and write the copy. But in general, like I just pull from a bunch of different things. Like for Easy, we have a Dropbox of so many videos to like work with. For Lunchbox, like I also manage all of the content creators for Lunchbox, so they have like I have all their content to pull from, and then I also like make videos myself depending on what's trending. So it really depends, but I pretty much have free reign to do whatever I want because it's just me running the account. So
But that works. I think that's the best way
yeah.
to do it, especially because like I don't know your situation, but like everyone above me is very, not like they're old, but they're older than me. And so
No,
they're
I
not,
know
they don't,
exactly where
yeah,
you're going
yeah.
with this. Yep,
I mean,
yep,
they'll admit they have no idea. Like, I don't really get it, but
yeah,
like, I'm like, well, then let me just handle it and we'll do it. Like,
yeah.
I'll get it moving. So yeah, but I think I'm not the only one that runs into that with bigger companies. There's very few.
Oh no, yeah. A lot, that's like the whole thing is like if you look at everyone who runs the TikToks for like all these big companies, it's all like kids in their 20s because no one else knows how to do TikTok.
Right. And then and those that have the free reign, it like I think it shows. It shows that they're
Oh yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
like Duolingo, like they have free
I
reign.
was
I think.
just about to
Yeah.
say Duolingo because
Duolingo's
like no one talked about, okay, well, if you like know Duolingo and you have Duolingo, then you knew about the app. But
yeah.
people who don't, now they like everyone knows about Duolingo now because of that TikTok account
It
and
works.
that damn bird. So it worked. And you know that they just left the TikTok manager to do whatever they needed to do. And they were just like,
Yeah.
whatever, you have free reign. And they came up with all that with the bird and everything. And now look at them. I mean, they're one of the most recognized brands on TikTok.
By far. I mean, 3.2 million followers. That's insane.
It's absurd. It's so absurd.
And I was doing the math. What do they say? They usually say like what? Isn't it like 10% of followers could be a conversion? Essentially, that's what I've read somewhere. I could be wrong.
I think I've read that. Yeah.
It's around that, right? So let's
Yeah.
for the sake of study, let's just say 10%. 3.2
Yeah.
million, 10%. That's what, 320,000.
That's the thing. Like, I'm curious to see how many people, I never looked into how many people actually registered for Duolingo after all of that happened. I'm sure it's some crazy number.
I mean, yeah, let's assume 10%, and
Yeah.
then what it costs, maybe $5 a month. That's
That's the thing. Like, they just
$1.5 million a month. All right, so we're doing great. It works. Like, I don't know.
insane.
Yeah, insane for sure. And yeah, and I think it's going that way more and more with reels and on Instagram and Facebook. Speaking of Instagram,
Oh yeah.
I think we both can shake our head at Instagram because it's the worst. It's the worst.
I'm so frustrated with the update for many reasons. One, I'm not an Instagram content creator at all. My Instagram is like that's just where I post things like for my family and friends, and I want to see posts from my family and friends.
Yeah.
So when the update came out and I opened it and I was just scrolling through on my homepage, just a bunch of reels from random accounts, I was like, if I wanted this, I would open the TikTok app. This
Right.
is not what I want for Instagram. Instagram, I want to see my friends and family and, other people in the scene that I'm following to see what they're up to. I don't want a bunch of reels. It's just becoming like TikTok. And we have an app for that already.
Yes, a 100% agree. It's atrocious. I mean, that's the thing, is they had the market cornered for picture purposing apps. If someone comes along right now and makes picturegram and it catches and it's just pictures, it might actually kill Instagram. Like, it really
No,
might.
I know. It's so sad though, because it's like I mean, I get it. Everyone's trying to compete with TikTok for obvious reasons. It's like the master app right now, but can't we all just have our different apps for different things? Like, it's just all blending in to become the same thing. Like you said, even Facebook has reels now. It's like, well, that's not what that's for.
Agreed. And even though they don't have that, there still is, I mean, as much as I complain about the platform, that does present opportunity in a sense of short form content. Like, I know with my content, for instance, like the best, most optimal thing for me to do now is I'm going to create on TikTok because it has the best creator platform by far. And then I'm going to post things maybe a week to 2 weeks later. But like, that post would be, say today I post something. Okay, in 2 weeks from now, I'll post that same thing on Instagram and then on Facebook and then on YouTube. And it kind of gets shuffled around a bit, but like, now I'm optimizing the best I can on every platform, because I can't create, at least not by myself. It's hard to create for 4 platforms.
For 4 platforms, yeah. And I was also gonna say YouTube Shorts is also now like blowing up. So it's like you can repurpose things for that as well. I want to try and do that for my personal YouTube channel. I do it for like the brands that I work on, but after seeing how well everything's doing, I'm like, maybe I should try this on my own YouTube channel.
I mean, I was doing it when it wasn't picking up, and I was getting like, so I was reposting my TikToks. Just that was again, easiest way to do it. Just take them, download them without the watermark, put them up. And then it was like I was getting at the max like 40 views, and I was like, but I was just like, I'm gonna keep doing it. And then last week, like just literally out of nowhere, it's like this one has
It's
2,000, this one has
insane.
3,000,
Yeah.
and I was like, I guess I'll keep doing it then. Like I'm not gonna not stop. And then my subscribers, when I went up like 15 subscribers in 2 weeks, so it's like it definitely is working. And I mean, hopefully it doesn't affect the pay structure too much, but like, yeah, still it's working. So yeah, absolutely, YouTube Shorts is definitely the next like frontier. I feel like that's working.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's getting into it now, but it's like the same thing. I was just like TikTok, but on YouTube,
Pretty
and
much.
TikTok, but on Instagram, like every single app.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's the Google algorithm or what. I will say that their shorts definitely can. So I can get very sucked into YouTube Shorts. I've had one or two nights already where I was just like, oh, there's one that looks interesting with two comedians I like, and then next thing you know, I'm like, holy shit, it's been 30 minutes.
You're like, oh my God, it's like 2 hours later and I'm in a black hole of YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, because YouTube does that for me anyways with just normal videos. Like I can just be like,
Oh,
that's a great
all
one.
the time.
It's
All
the
the
best.
time. The algorithm is just so like, I'll be watching one thing and there's like 10 videos lined up and it's like, that's exactly what I want to see next.
100%. They added a queue feature, right? Didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
That's even more dangerous because then it's just
I know.
keeps
Now
on
you're
coming.
spending so many hours on YouTube.
But that's the thing. That's the best part is we as creators know that too. And it's like all right, we don't have to just be watchers the entire time. We can do both. So
Yeah.
it's nice. Switch up a little. Let's do some questions here.
Oh
So
boy.
let's go favorite festival.
Oh, that's so hard. I always tell everyone I don't have one because they're all so different. So I feel
Agreed.
like you can't compare, but
So if there was, well, let's help you out with it. Then if there's one that you would be like, it's my home. I don't want to miss it every year, essentially.
gotta go with EDC Vegas. I have to.
Understandable.
Yeah.
You have a good year this year? Because I've heard mixed reviews.
A lot of people didn't like it this year. I loved it just because I just love that festival so much. But I have to say, after going in October and May, the October vibes were much better than in May.
Do you think that was because it was more empty? There wasn't as many people?
I think it was more because the people who went to EDC in October were the people who have been like dying to go to EDC since before the pandemic. So it was people who were like all in, like ravers, ready to go. Whereas May, now that things were like back to normal, it was kind of just like, oh, like I'll go to EDC, whatever. And it was very packed for sure.
Yeah, when we went, which was 2019, it was like sardines at some stages.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Very, very crowded.
I'll never forget that Skrillex surprise set. We were like, oh,
you were there?
It was so bad. It was so bad. We were literally like in the far, like we were so far back and we were still like this. Like I remember being
I've heard horror stories of people who were in that crowd, but you got to see Skrillex.
It was so cool. Yeah. It was
yeah.
So cool. But it was just everyone and their mother was there that night. Everyone.
Yeah. Oh, for
we had
sure.
friends that left. They were like, we were trying to meet up with them and they just ended up giving up. It was so crowded and they just went to another stage and they were like, it was empty. It was great. Was like,
yeah, I'm sure every other stage was empty.
Favorite artist.
I'm not good at picking one favorite for any category. But I would say my top two will always be Millennium and Slander.
All right. I always forget you're a big Slander fan.
I am a Slander stan. I will never not be a Slander stan. I just like, yeah, it's like Millennium and Slander are like they're just my favorite. They're the best.
So no wiggle room for 7 Lions.
Well, that's my holy trinity. My holy trinity is
so
Millennium.
If I said top 3, we would have gotten it.
Yes, my trinity is Millennium, Slander, and 7 Lions. They are like my 3 core artists.
You've got me on 2 of the 3, so we'll let the third one slide.
No all right, it's understandable.
I don't know why in my head I thought you were very into house. Do you like
Well,
house, but are you
I
like,
love house, but people always think that because I work in house music, so I post house stuff like all the
makes sense.
time.
Ugh.
So I think people are just like, oh, like she's a house head. I love house music. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't work every day in it.
True.
But I'm definitely more of a bass person. Like I love melodic bass, melodic D&B, that kind of stuff.
100% on board with that. I've like
Yeah.
started to dabble in house more.
Yes.
I think I just told Emma that. I was like, I've been listening to a
Oh,
lot.
she'll definitely send you down a rabbit hole. If you tell anyone tells her you're interested in house music, she will take that and run with it and send you lots of music.
I did see one house set with her at EDC Orlando. I was like, I'll go to one.
What'd you see?
I saw John Summit.
Oh, of
It was
course, of
perfect. I loved it.
course.
I loved it.
That's a good
Yeah.
intro. Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, I've had some artists I like, but now I'm like a little bit more. Like I've been listening to a lot of Zoo lately. A lot.
Oh, he's one of my favorite
Lot.
artists, hands down. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. So I think that was because I was younger and not so into the house. I don't know what it could have been. Or it might have been really, really amped up at the time. But we saw him, part of him at EDC Orlando 2019. And I remember we left. I can't remember where we went to, but I remember being like, this is
Oh, I was at that set as well, but I ended up leaving early because it was the very last set of the weekend and I was exhausted. So I literally left halfway through. Sorry, Zoo.
it happens. I mean, I've had sets. I think we've all been there at some point where you're like, I'm just ready. Like I'm just.
You're like, it's time to call the Uber, I think.
Yep, the feet on that.
Yeah.
Do I have any other questions? Oh, well, this isn't mainly a festival one, but you guys stayed for Lost Lands at a hotel.
Yes.
So that is something different that I am unaware of. I'm sure most people don't do that either. So I want to know a little bit about that experience because I've only done the camping and I'll die by the camping. But then you guys were like, it was pretty good.
I know.
So,
yeah. So
how did that work?
the thing is with Lost Lands camping, the thing is for camping festivals in general, for my fam, it's pretty difficult because we're all from New York City. Like we don't have, first of all, we're not good with the outdoors. Let's start with that.
It kills me.
I have to walk like 20 minutes to go touch grass. Like I don't know anything about the outdoors. I don't have camping supplies. I don't own a car, like nothing. So to do a camping festival, yeah, I don't have a car.
That actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I don't have a car.
Okay,
doesn't have a car. Yeah, exactly. So people I know people commented on my video. They were like, "You have to camp at Lost Lands. Like you're not doing the full Lost Lands." I'm like, I understand, but logistically, it is, and financially, it would end up being so much money to fly and camp because we have to do so whatever. So also, I sent Lost Lands very last minute last year. So to do all of that organization of camping last minute, I was like, I can't. So we got a hotel and there's actually a shuttle that runs from downtown Columbus to the festival. And there's a bunch of hotels right by that shuttle stop. So we would literally get up, walk like 2 minutes around the corner, get on the shuttle. It's like a 30-40 minute drive to Lost Lands, to Legend Valley.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, they run like all during sound camps. So you can stay for sound camps. You don't have to leave right when the festival ends. And it's honestly great. I mean, I've camped at festivals. I've done hotels for most festivals. And just like with Lost Lands, my body hurt so effing bad at the end of every single day that I was very grateful to have a hotel bed and shower.
Yeah, 100%. I can get on board with that. Like, I mean, camping's fun. I'm not gonna lie, but that first night back home or at a hotel, I'm like cranking up the hot water. I'm just sitting in the shower.
That shower
like,
hits different. The post-festival shower hits different.
It does 100%. My last question for you as a creator, what is your process for your own creating and your own content creation? Do you have a method? Do you have an organization method, workflow? Tell me about it. I'm curious.
I kind of work off of just an events calendar. So I make all my content around specific festivals. So like, for example, EZU's coming up in a month. So like I planned all my EZU content to go up over the next month. So I have like one video filmed already. And then I got to film another that'll go up in maybe like, let's say 2 weeks. And then I kind of just plan everything around like what I know I have coming up in the year. So I almost plan at the beginning of the year what festivals I know I'm going to. So I know like, okay, I'll have this many vlogs this month, this many like vlogs that month. And then the in between time, I just kind of figure out like, okay, what festivals am I not going to that I can still make videos around? Like, for example, Moonrise. I'm not going, but I have been. So I was like, well, let's make some content for that as well. I also got to do that because I'm also an Insomniac affiliate. So I do have to make content for certain Insomniac festivals.
Nice.
So that gets worked into the schedule as well. But everything is based around what events are going on and what I'm going to. And then just in between that, it's whatever else I brainstorm.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might pick your brain some more out of this, but I'm curious because I'm starting to get back in a stride with things and long stories, but we'll get to that not in the podcast. But yeah, trying to get more organized and on top of the things that I want to do and whatnot. So I'm looking at different methods and such. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My last and final question as the time ticks on our Zoom timer here, but would be how are you living yourself for every day? That's the theme of the podcast, live yourself for every day. So I always like to ask
Ooh.
guests, how are they doing that? And there is no right or wrong answer, but just curious.
Oh, is that what it stands for? I never knew that.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I love that. Be yourself for every day.
T-shirts coming soon. Okay.
Yeah. I think for me nowadays, it's about I've learned how to just be present with every single day. I used to be kind of a worrier and a planner in all aspects of life. Like even like going to festivals, I would be
Mhm.
like, okay, I have to vlog like this moment and then I have to go like do this. And we have to make sure this is all organized. And now when I go to festivals, I'm just like, I see what artists I'm gonna see. I'm just happy to be here. I'm with my friends, I'm with people I love. Like I'm all about just like being in the moment, not stressing about things, just taking everything with a grain of salt. And also, on top of all of that, doing what I love for work every single day has changed my life because I've done other like mundane jobs when I was first like in college.
Yeah.
And now I've been able to create a whole career for myself out of the music industry and just like busting my ass to be able to do that and support myself. And I can't stress enough how much like working in something that you're passionate about just like changes your everyday life and attitude. So that's also a big thing for me.
No, that's awesome. I love that entirely. Go with the flow, work hard, all that. Those are very big values that I also attest to and enjoy. And I'm glad to have you as a friend in that sense, because that's something that I think is important. I like to have friends that are like that. I don't want, no offense to those that are slacking, but I don't want to,
If you're slacking,
you know
fuck
what I'm
you. No, we're
saying?
kidding.
Yeah. Get it together. Carry the boat up the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But no, that's awesome. Those are things to live by. I'm currently trying to do more live in the moment, live with the flow. So wise words to live by. We'll close it out with that. Tell everyone where they can follow you, where they can check you out at, and also make sure there's stuff in the podcast description. But
So on YouTube, I'm just Bebe Howell. On Instagram, I'm Bebe_Howell. And then on Twitter and TikTok, I am Bebe Howell_.
awesome, Bebe. Well, thank you so much. I hope we can do this again. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
And I'll see you for Excision.
Oh yes, I forgot you're coming.
Yeah. This will
Yay.
go out after, but I'll be there. So
Amazing. Oh,
we'll get
can't
pumped.
wait.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Yay.